The story begins in the dead of night when masked ninjas infiltrate the Avengers Tower. The ninjas sneak past Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, and Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, who adjust their gear. And even Thor and Hulk arguing about missing food. Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, is in the training room breaking a sweat with a punching bag when the ninjas sneak up behind him. Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, is on the porch eating peanut butter when he witnesses everything and alerts Captain America of the intruders. When Hawkeye shoots at the intruders, the leader of the ninjas thinks he missed when he intended to hit the alarm behind her. Out of nowhere, Hulk enters the room by breaking through the wall while the rest of the Avengers arrive on the scene. Falcon checked their enemies through his goggles and discovered they didn't have heat signatures or a pulse. Captain America later realized that they were undead vampires and asked Iron Man to activate the tower's UV light frequencies, which destroys the vampires, leaving the female intruder by herself. As the female intruder continues trembling from the UV light, Captain America reveals her to be Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow. Suddenly, a creepy voice comes from Widow, greeting Captain America, claiming it has been long since then. She sends him a message offering her life in exchange for his before she collapses. He later explains that they have heard it is none other than Dracula, the king of the vampires. Falcon worries the Widow is a vampire, but Captain America explains that she is not yet a vampire, but in transition. She is still in the early stages and could quickly get worse, but he assures them that they can save her, as Dracula's hold on her is still incomplete. Hawkeye voices his doubts about this Dracula guy, but Captain America assures him that he is real. He explains that Dracula refuses to be called Count as it is insulting, given that he is the king of an entire vampire nation. While Hawkeye is still wrapping his head around everything, Thor says there's often truth in myth, to which his very existence was a myth before everything else. Iron Man explains that although Thor's powers may seem magic, it's just Asgardian science to him, and he wonders if there's a scientific explanation for these vampires. While debating on the matter, Widow regains consciousness and attacks the Avengers. Either she was too fast for them, or they tried hard not to hurt her. Regardless, she tries to escape from the tower by running directly into a mirror. When the others wonder why she would do that, Captain America explains that she could not see her reflection in the mirror and thought it was an exit. After strapping her in the lab, Falcon retrieved her case file, which showed that she was following a lead on the Red Skull in Transylvania. Captain America explains that if they want to cure the Widow, they must find the vampire who turned her and forced him to release her. Iron Man suggests otherwise, claiming he can cure her here in the tower as he suspects it may just be MODOK's brain switching machine or some form of hypnotism. While still gathering intel, Jarvis malfunctions and claims there's an error. Following Captain America's lead, the Avengers set their sights on Dracula's castle in Transylvania. While preparing for the fight, Captain America explains that he needs the silver-plated strike discs against the vampires. Although Hulk can knock them down, he claims he won't be able to stop them as they keep coming back. Captain America later reveals that during the war, Dracula and their country were uneasy allies. Hydra was trying to invade Transylvania, and Dracula was protecting his land. So, having a common enemy, they forged an alliance back in the day. Thor wonders why Dracula's after him now, to which he explains that Dracula, as a king, just takes whatever he wants to, and as to what, he is unsure. Iron Man claims they need to get to Dracula's castle and find out what he used on the Widow when he catches Hawkeye making wooden stake arrows. Thor worries that this seems like a trap, to which Captain America agrees. Luring the Avengers to Transylvania, Red Skull explains that if everything goes according to plan, then Dracula will finally get what he has been denied for thousands of years. When they arrive, Hawkeye wonders if it's always night in Transylvania, to which Dracula appears and tells them that his kingdom lives in eternal night. Seeing Dracula within range, Hawkeye couldn't help himself from taking a shot at him, which Dracula easily dodges and takes back the Widow with him. Dracula claims that because of the history he shares with Captain America, he wanted to make this as painless as it could be, but seeing that they drew first, it would appear that his mercy is unwanted. He then orders his vampires to kill them all, who quickly surround them. While Hawkeye makes a snarky comeback after failing to take out Dracula, Iron Man examines their opponents. Jarvis explains that their genetic structure can reconstitute itself and does not take that damage the same way they do. Iron Man suggests hitting them with everything they've got and figuring out how to make it permanent later. Hulk says Iron Man is overthinking it and starts smashing everything. While Falcon is providing air support, a vampire attacks him with a whip, which he easily cuts with his sword. Just when he thought how primitive whips are, they suddenly move as if it was alive. Captain America and Hawkeye run for the entrance while Thor uses his hammer, Mjolnir, and thunder attacks, which are effective. When Falcon shows Iron Man the whip wrapped around his arm, Iron Man believes it to be a non-genetic biodriver, a form of biotech. He explains that they use blood to transfer data by piggybacking program commands through the white blood cells. Iron Man returns to the Quinjet, claiming that he needs to hack these sequence codes, and he will be able to save the Widow before she entirely turns into a vampire. Captain America claims he too knows how to save the Widow. He leaves Hulk and Thor in charge of the entrance while Falcon and Hawkeye follow him. They then quickly infiltrate the castle through a hole that Hulk made. Captain America claims that Dracula's chambers are in the North Tower. Hawkeye wonders how he knows and explains that it is the furthest from the sun. As they were to move deeper, Falcon heard Widow's voice from a distance and decides to check it out. Separating from the group, Falcon followed the voice to the bell tower and attacked him with the bell's strongest vibrations. She claims that sonic navigation units like his make him vulnerable to vibration attacks. As Falcon still suffers from the vibration attack, Widow tries to attack him when Hawkeye stops her, pointing an arrow directly at her. Widow quickly uses her weak feminine side to appeal to him, saying that Dracula controls her and cannot stop him by herself. While Hawkeye tries to get Widow to fight his compulsion, Dracula sneaks up behind him and knocks him out. He claims that their compassion will always be their greatest weakness. Dracula quickly runs to the top of the tower, dangling the unconscious body of the Falcon, and Hawkeye tricks Captain America into going with him. Meanwhile, outside the castle, Hulk and Thor keep watch on the entrance, keeping the vampires at bay, who keep making quick attacks on the Hulk. Stabbing at him every chance they get, Thor also grows impatient with the vampire's strikes and retreat tactics. Hulk attacks the ground to destroy the tombstones the vampires hide behind, while Thor charges up for a thunder attack on all vampires in the area. Although not as effective as the sun, lightning works just the same. While Iron Man keeps the vampires at bay, Jarvis informs him that the hack codes for the Widow's blood are ready. After cross-referencing her blood to the rest of the Avengers, Jarvis seemed to have made an alarming discovery. A vampire tried to bite Iron Man through his armor, but it broke her teeth instead. Jarvis claims it is about Captain America when asked what the discovery was. Dracula leads Captain America back to his chambers when he asks him why he is doing this. Given that they were allies in the past, Dracula claims that his new enemy is humanity. He explains that there have been more humans every century, threatening his kingdom. With technological advancement, it has been harder for his kind to hide in the shadows of rumor and myth. Captain America asks Dracula to release the Widow so they can talk by themselves, but he claims he's in no position to make demands. He explains that the super soldier serum in Captain America's body is said to cure him of his only weakness, the sunlight. Captain America suspects that he heard about it from Red Skull and wonders why he would work with him when he was at war with him back then. Dracula claims that these are strange times. He then quickly lunges at Captain America, who tries to explain that he could not trust Red Skull. Dracula claims that with his blood, he will be able to destroy Hydra, the Avengers, and anyone who dares stand in his way. When Dracula's about to bite his neck, Captain America breaks one of his fangs with his shield, but knocks him out in return. Enthusiastic about walking in the daylight, Dracula's about to sink his teeth into Captain America when Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man walk in through a hole that Hulk made. Hulk quickly charges at Dracula and throws him against a wall. When Dracula climbs out from the rubble, he turns into the Hulk, while the Hulk gets turned into a vampire. Dracula orders him to attack the Avengers while he finishes what he started with Captain America. As Dracula's about to escape with Captain America, his body stops working. Jarvis explains that Hulk's blood appears to be attacking his body, which Iron Man suspects must be because of the gamma rays. He explains that gamma rays have a similar ionizing property to solar radiation. In layman's terms, Hulk's blood is like sunlight to Dracula, slowly attacking his body. Iron Man suggests making the Hulk matter, which Thor claims he's an expert at. He suggests using strike and retreat tactics, which the Hulk furiously hates. They attack him in all directions, which Iron Man explains will help burn out Dracula's cells in his body. Hawkeye worries that he has spent a lot of time ensuring Hulk doesn't get mad. Despite all their efforts, Iron Man explains that they need to make him angrier. After bringing the room down on him, Hulk manages to burn out the infection and return to his usual angry self. Dracula's in disbelief at seeing Hulk purge himself from the bite and claims that it is impossible. With Dracula on his knees, Captain America asks him to release the Widow or face the wrath of Iron Man, ready to fire a gamma radiation attack at him, while threatening it to be the least painful moment of his day. Suddenly, a crack in the floor opens and his underlings pull Dracula under. He claims this is not over, and the Widow is his forever before the crack is sealed by itself again. Having Dracula retreat, the Avengers return to the Quinjet with Hawkeye carrying the Widow in his arms, while the others help carry Hulk back to their ship before the whole place explodes. Iron Man then injects the Widow with a synthesized version of the Hulk's blood, hoping it will burn out the vampire infection and cure her before it's too late. They worry that the Widow might turn into the Hulk and strongly hope she does not. Later that night, Red Skull is seen walking towards the catacombs where Dracula seeks refuge after his fight with the Avengers. The vampires initially thwart him, but Dracula asks them to let him pass. Red Skull explains that his present state is not his fault, but of the Avengers. He then offers him a seat in his cabal, a powerful consortium devoted to what he seeks. When asked what he knows about what Dracula seeks, Red Skull claims he seeks revenge against the people who put him in this state. The Widow later wakes up in the company of her friends and comrades. Retracing her steps, she wonders if she became a vampire, which Tony confirms by saying she got better. When Widow smelled something awful, Hawkeye revealed a ring of garlic to ward her off if the cure failed. She also jokes with him about having a wooden stake, which he hid behind his back in embarrassment. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap that bell icon to be notified about our latest videos. We'll see you next time.